What's happening, folks? Hope you're all doing well. Vianova are back. Their new album, Hit It, and their debut album, which is mental. Their debut album. I thought this band had like multiple albums, but I'm realizing that they've had EPs in the past, but this is actually their first album. They have like 180,000 monthly listeners, blowing up across socials. Music is incredible, so unique, so different, and people are really, really getting behind this band, and they only have one album as of today. Their new album, Hit It. Insane. We're going to check out Squire Talk, which is the first song on the new album. It also has a single music video released with it. And then we're going to check out the full album reaction over on my Patreon. So the links for that will be in the description. We can check out the video right now though. And interestingly, before we get into this, I've been looking at the name of the song, Squire Talk, right? So Squire Talk, the word squire has multiple meanings, okay? Referring historically to a young man who attended a night, a wealthy landowner in the past English countryside, or an escort for a woman. Informally, it can be a friendly, old-fashioned term of address for another man. So that could be a lot of things straight away, but I think what it might be referring to more specifically is the term is also the shortened form of the musical instrument brand Squire by Fender, which produces guitars. So to me, that translates directly to like guitar talk. And you know these guys like to do some crazy noises with the guitars, so I'd imagine we're going to get a lot in this song. Or it's going to be some like old English gentleman style delivery. Who knows? Let's check it out. Let's go. Okay, so they're big time again. This whole storyline has been it's been chaos to follow. So they're going to the big record label now. What is it? Intergalactic Records? The boys are back. Wait, is this the AI version? I don't even fucking know. Strange Works visuals. Oh my god. Oh my god, I see if they're that was me actually nearly dying. That wasn't me laughing. That wasn't like an exaggerated laugh. I happened to kind of laugh at the auto-tune vocals because of how the storyline has gone up to this point, but I also nearly died, so don't get that mistaken. Jesus, that coffee went down the wrong way. But straight off rip, I'm not going to pause it anymore. I just can't help but laugh at the fact that they have the like heavily doctored vocals, which now I'm actually confused as to whether or not this is like the AI version of the band or not. It could be. We'll see. Because that's like over the top. Like it's like president level auto-tune. I can't tell if this is serious or not. There's like a dead mouse, ghosts and stuff, synths rising. Jesus. Intergalactic Records. The boys have made it. This shit's gonna hit whatever the fuck happens here. Let me hear those squires talking. I've seen some clips where this area is. The little snare rolls. Ooh. The Oralized tour. Interesting vocal delivery, even by Alex's standards. We're going full sugar for this one. The marketing guy, or the CEO looks like Bogdan. That bass tone's nasty. Freddie Mercury showing up. Come on, boys.
Oh, hell no.
So dumb. This is such a cool video. This is like sewer, gent. I feel like I'm in a fucking... in a pipe. It's Vianova. I mean, it's undeniably them. So unique, man. Nice. Speeding up. Very raw. The boys have made it. So it is Squire Talk the guitar. Okay, this is like, this could be the penultimate moment, or the final moment. This would be the final moment, I'm guessing. There's no more music videos to come out, I guess. I've got chills. This is giving me severe PTSD from the last time I was in Berlin. I don't know where they are in this video, but those early morning walks are fucking heavy, man. Yeah, no one talking to each other, just like... Jesus. So sick. Yeah, this is like a PTSD simulator watching this. Having to get on the train when everyone's going to work. Oh! Jesus Christ. Goodness me. Oh, the moody synth. Is this in the album? I hope this is in the album. I love this. Oh, it's sad seeing the boys like this. I mean, they're just skagging a little bit, but it's fine. Okay. Once again, Vianova confusing the absolute fuck out of me. The music videos alone need to be studied in insane amounts of depth. Depth. I can't speak ever. Whenever I turn the camera on, I just turn into an absolute fucking onion. But yeah, very, very mental song. That song, I think, is going to be one of my favorites of the band to go back to. Obviously, there's moments, the video makes up about, it looks like it adds another like a minute and 50 seconds on to the actual song itself. So I'm guessing a lot of that will be in the outro. So maybe that synth won't be included, which is a little bit sad. But also there's the start of it as well. And there's moments in the middle of it where it kind of obviously breaks into the I guess the cinematography and stuff, which just, yeah, I mean, they do such a great job of getting the humor across. But it's also musically so fucking different, man. I mean, they're keeping it pretty consistent with the groove across this track. There was so many moments where, like, production wise, they just pull certain segments of the song out. You know what? I'm going to listen to it again because this will be the YouTube video, and then I'll listen to the full album. So let's just listen to it again because obviously that's a lot to deep dive. There's a whole like lore theme that goes with this album as well that we've been watching. So this is basically the band showing up at Intergalactic Records after being signed. Now, this is the first track on the album, so I don't know if there's like continuity in the sense that it's supposed to go from track one. I don't think so. It's in the storyline is going in the order of the singles, not in order of the way in which they're phrased in the album. So that's interesting and a little bit confusing because we're starting the album off with essentially the last section of the storyline. But the storyline's being a lot to keep on board with. But they go in, and my first impressions hearing the vocals, I thought that was going to be a small portion of the song, but they do kind of come back to that vocal style quite a lot with the like heavily processed vocal style, which I was thinking that we're still listening to the kind of AI version. Not to say that this doesn't sound good or anything, but obviously if you're going to try and portray a AI band, you'd probably use like heavily processed vocals that sound robotic. They make it sound cool. Like this is still very Vianova. Like if Vianova were to just do this without all of the lore and the theme of the AI and like all the AI band that's replacing them, you would, you know, if they were to do this, you would say, oh, this is a Vianova sound. But because of the storyline that they've built up, it's a little bit confusing as to whether or not they're trying to be them or if it's the other band. But based on the storyline, if nothing else has changed and it's very linear, then this means that this is the real band that were in the bar that got picked back up by the label, and now they're big timers again. There's like a synth rising in the back, if you guys know the song Ghost and stuff by deadmau5 and Rob Swire. It sounds like, it's kind of like a droney sound. That sounds quite similar to what we hear in the back here, which is kind of cool. But the vocals are not really my cup of tea, but again, they just get away with it because they're so quirky and cool, and you just kind of have to like let go and trust that they're going to do something really weird that you've never heard before, but make it work. And again, they delivered on this song. I've no idea what the lyrics are saying either. I'm still choking from the start of that song. Intergalactic Records. I wonder if this is the actual like office for the label. What was it? A Rising Empire? Yeah, Rising Empire. Again, notable that this is the start of the album, which I enjoy this as an album intro and not just getting straight into the gent. It's a bit of a build up, bit of anticipation. Don't get carried away. There's Bogan. So he's obviously doing a marketing breakdown, which adds up because these guys have done such an amazing job of marketing themselves on Instagram and short form platforms. Some of the videos have been incredible. Alex is one of these guys from my dealings with him. His brain, he's kind of like, I understand him as a person. He probably finds it very hard to like shut off. I really get that impression from him, but like, I'm kind of like that, but also I think this guy takes it to a new level. I've experienced it with him. Like he's reaching out to us in the Metal Roundup to do a video, and he obviously wants to have a lot of creative control, which is unreal. It's so cool to see because obviously we got to deal with him a little bit with one. We had him on the podcast first of all, and then he basically asked us, did we want to do a like clip with Vianova on the band's Instagram, where we basically like were pretending to interview Alex. That's a whole thing that you guys can look on the Instagram if you want to go back and check their page and my page and the Metal Roundups page. That was so fun. Like, he just has such a creative mind, and he's constantly trying to like they just haven't stopped. Like, they're high budget videos as well a lot of the time. Obviously the one that we did was just like an interview we clipped together, but it still takes a lot of work to kind of make something land like that. But yeah. That is so up my street. So up my street. It just kind of like beckons you to just bathe in that groove. You know, you're already kind of grooving with the chorus. You can bathe in the silence. And then you're like, it just kind of like, oh, you like this groove? Well, let me just cement it for you. Give you a little ear, you know, a little tickle. So good. He's literally doing kind of like, he's even in the gun signs. It does, it's like that mumble rap / trap music in that kind of just plagued hip hop for so long. I don't know if that's still something that's really popular, but I fucking hated that era of like rap music and hip hop. That was just like everyone absolutely out of their minds on like lean and shit and all these fucking stupid drugs. And they just were completely inaudible, and everyone was like, oh, this shit goes so hard. But it was because the producer was always sick and he made a sick beat, and then the fucking idiots were just like, on the beat, you know? And it's like, oh man, he's amazing. It's like, no, he's not. I can do that. Okay, I'm exaggerating slightly. I'm sure there's a little bit of skill that's involved, but most of the time they're just fucking whacked off their head on whatever the latest drug is, and they're just mumbling it down a microphone. Let's call it what it is. Ass. But the beat and the production is always fire, so they get away with it. That's the kind of style that Vianova are going with, without the ass in, you know, I think it's just ass because it's like, the rap side of it is ass because it just feels like there's very little effort put in, but obviously the production on this and the actual, you know, technicality of the guitars being played and shit like that. And then also just the fact that it feels like Vianova can shift in and out of these worlds because it almost feels like they're always playing a character. They're like just trying different styles and it just works. It's still not my favorite style, not my favorite vocal delivery, you know. Maybe it'll sound better on Spotify. It's a little bit compressed in this because of the YouTube video. But yeah, let's keep going. Makes so much sense. You know what I love about it as well is that this whole thing could go to shit if one of the band members just like wasn't that into the acting side of things, but they all are seemingly so happy to get involved, and they all like really commit to the roles they're playing, like the goofy roles in the videos, which just makes it so much more fun to watch. Because if they're like half in, half out, it's just cringe. But the fact that they all just completely commit to the silly roles they're playing makes it so much more fun, and it makes you want to like get involved and support it so much more. Like, look at this. Okay, so we get the signature guitar. I was a little bit confused by this part because there was so much happening and the song was starting to kind of build into a section that I was like, okay, here we go. So I started paying more attention to the song and less to the video. So what happens here? They basically are talking about the future of Vianova, and the guy's promising them the, you know, the sun, moon, and stars, which I'm sure is kind of beaming on the fact about what a lot of labels probably do to bands, where they're like, oh yeah, we're going to give you this and this and this tour and this tour, and Now they're simultaneously promoting it towards, they're going on with Oral Eyes, which is clever, but it also does date the song and the video very much so. But so Nick, is that Nick playing that particular guitar? Alexander Kursky. Oh, it's his presentation, sorry, and he's showing Nick playing a guitar. That's cool. This part finished me. This is incredible.
Oh, hell no.
Is this in the song? I have to hear how they do this in the song. Sorry, I know this is an absolute mess of a video so far, but this is around the 3:23 mark. How do they actually pull this off? Hold on a minute. Okay, it's this build up. Okay. It's just in the video. Okay, thank God. I don't think I could listen to that song on Spotify and take it seriously if it was that. Like, the lengths that they're going to make these videos is so funny.
Oh, hell no. Pass me the Squire.
Yeah, there we go. Squire talk. Okay, it makes sense now. That is so cool. Coolest band out there, man. They really are. So different. Okay. Okay, I'm conscious of the fact that this video is getting very long, so I'm going to pause it here and move on to the rest of the album. So if you would like to join me for the rest of the album, please do so. We're going to finish it. Don't know why I struggle with that. I'm still coughing here. Jesus. We're going to finish the rest of the album on Patreon, guys, so I'll leave a link for that in the description of the pinned comment if you want to get involved and check out me checking out the rest of the album. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of this song and the whole album if you've already heard it. That's all from me. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Look after yourselves. Cheers. Okay, we're back on Patreon. Right, let's go into Más Rápido, which is a song we've already heard. I'm gonna let it play again. It's been a while since I heard this song. Más Rápido. But great start to an album, man. Great start to an album. Squire talk, that was funny. Fucking hell. always fluent in gent. You know what? Seeing the lyrics of this song actually makes it hit so much harder. I didn't realize it was actually this lyrically interesting. And that's what I think a lot of people are resonating with Vianova for as well, is that they're quite real with a lot of their lyrics as well. Like, it's very relatable shit, which is kind of cool. Like, they are getting a lot bigger as a band, but they're obviously still at that point where, you know, they're not making big bucks from this shit, you know? And that's reflected in the music, I think. Yeah, this band is so different, man. All of the bright synths and the... I don't know, man. I just get like Chicago town vibes from a lot of their music. It's weird. Sick, though. Wheel of Fortune. Another... another single. No lyrics for this one, unfortunately. And that kind of like gospel feel to it as well. Put your hands up. Have I even heard this song? My first song was Mazrabido. I want to read these lyrics. Okay.
Sir, would you like to raise or fold?
So let's say judgment and the wheel of fortune. Don't be surprised if we lose it all again. Nothing's worth it in the end. No. So let's say judgment and the wheel of fortune.
Okay. Next song up is a new one. I'm very excited to see where this goes with the new song. A little bit of a break here just to talk about the lyrics. That's what's kind of getting me the most on this, which is really interesting because Vianova is not a band that I ever really paid too much attention to lyrically because, I mean, there's so much else going on to pay attention to that the lyrics are kind of the last thing on my mind. Sometimes the lyrics will creep through and I'm like, okay, they're saying this, but the overall like visual themes and the visuals of the videos, I guess, and the actual music is just so demanding of your attention a lot of the time that like lyrics are just not really on my mind. But this is really interesting as a theme to an album. So Squire Talk I'll have to listen to again, obviously, and go through the lyrics because it's a new song and I didn't pay too much attention to the lyrics. Like I've already mentioned, we did like a 20-minute breakdown on just the song and the video alone. But Más Rápido, however you want to pronounce it, is the introduction to, I guess, a character that's very relatable as, you know, a working class person, I guess. I'm not suggesting that about myself, but I guess that's the kind of character that they are playing, or just someone it's not even a classist thing, it's just someone who's essentially going through the motions of life and using external stimuli to get themselves through the like mundane tasks of whether it be like going to work or just all this shit that a lot of people just don't necessarily want to do but have to do because they have bills to pay, and they're using all of these stimuli to get them through it, like caffeine, all this kind of shit. And then that obviously kind of spirals into Wheel of Fortune, which is, okay, I'm fed up with this life, let's start spinning the Wheel of Fortune and taking some gambles, which I know can be like seen, you know, they kind of portray it in a maybe kind of lighthearted way because the music is fun and bouncy and bright in moments, but like it's quite a dark theme, which I know is very like, it's almost like taboo to talk about in today's day and age. It's everyone's kind of suffering with the same shit, but like, you know, it's an interesting theme and it's not something that I really thought I would be following along with so much. Again, when I've already heard the songs, I prefer to kind of go a little bit deeper with the lyrical meaning of the songs because, you know, otherwise we're just listening to the song I've already heard. There's nothing to like react to. But the lyrics, again, not something I pay too much attention to. But like I'm reading the lyrics on the on the internet here on one of these Genius pages, and very interesting. Like all in, he says like, I suck at business, money on red, chance 50-50. I get a kick out of having the odds against me if the house wins. Like it's just chasing these artificial highs that are actually not really getting to the root of your issue, whether it be like you're depressed or whatever it might be, you're happy with like you're unhappy with your job or your scenario. It's like, okay, well look, this is my scenario, I need to pay the bills, so I'm not going anywhere with this job, I'm just gonna take a big risk and hopefully it'll all pay off. But even if you do, you know, win big on the jackpot, you're probably gonna end up back in the same position anyway because you've not really kind of like got to the root of the core, you know, the core issue. So, yeah, interesting. A bad hand ain't a reason to give up. Not ever. I'm out of luck. I suck at business. Money on red. Chance 50-50. I get kicked out of having the odds against me if the house wins. All in with my empty house. Credit sharks out to get me. So, yeah, it's like quite a dark theme in terms of like people like fall into like gambling addictions and shit. If the house wins, and it just spirals because it's like, okay, now I owe money out, but in order for me to get that money back, I could probably just gamble more. And, you know, you hear these stories all the time of people just losing everything because they get delusional with the 1 in a million chance that they might win big on, whether it be like a Wheel of Fortune or like a slot machine or anything gambling related online on their mobiles and shit. It's an interesting topic. So you know what, as a theme, I'm really intrigued. I'm kind of like following the character along on this one. So I mean, going from Squire Talk being, I don't know lyrically what it's about, but obviously visually it's about, like, it's almost like the album kind of loops back around. You know what, it really does. It kind of it does actually loop around. It's almost like the album could start, it goes through the whole thing. It goes through almost like the whole life cycle of going from the very top to the very bottom, gambling addictions and shit like that, becoming obsolete, and then getting picked up by a record label, going through all these things. Yeah, it's actually, this is going to be a fun one to go through because, again, I didn't really pay too much attention to the themes as the singles were coming out, but now it's starting to make sense. Hopefully I can get some lyrics for Oh No, Believer, which is a fitting song title for the next one coming up because they've just gambled their life away on the Wheel of Fortune and now it's like, oh no, we're fucked. So I'm guessing that's where it's going to go. Let's keep going. Let me see if I can find lyrics in the background. Vianova. Oh no, lyrics. No lyrics just yet. Oh, I have it.
Oh no, I think I'm a believer. I bought my soul to buy into every dream that I'm so sure that I'm looking for a reason. Who could have known that I'm already a believer? Sick of the pizzas, yeah, me and God had to break up. I had to quit all the politics, so me and my friends can make up. I'm sorry I'm a nihilistic, egotistic, piece of shit that's grasping at every straw. Oh, I can't take it no more, give in. Salvation to success, big ball making big mistakes. I carry my cross but I'm blessed. Big ball making smaller steps, you heard it in first. Oh no, I think I'm a believer. I bought my soul to buy into every dream that I'm so sure that I'm looking for a reason. Who could have known that I'm already a believer? I mean, what the fuck, man? Really a Porsche? Psych! Love the lack of perspective. I don't reflect, I decided to look basket. Ever delivering the package with my investments. But I'm no on the down, motherfucker looking dumb like a killer. I cut myself when I look in the mirror. But no, that face there got me some filler. Said I did it by the river, cause I'll never need a Baptist that is spitting on my ass. Still a pretty motherfucker when they put me in a casket. Oh.
That is so good.
I just need a wall to the yard, to the big ass house with the huge backyard, to the big old house full of fresh bush cars. Oh no!
So they've actually made it big now. So the Wheel of Fortune paid off. I might have to get on it. This is not a good gambling advertisement.
Oh no, I think I'm a believer. I bought my soul to buy into every dream that I'm so sad that I'm looking for a reason. Who could have known that I'm already believing? I'll push my buttons, pull my strings. Those in my head painting those strings. I'll make this up and let's go so wild. 'Cause I'm still so sick.
Wow, this band is so unique.
Big ass spoilers, big trigger snakes.
I didn't catch that last part. Man, this is so interesting. I love it when an album can get me into it musically. Like, lyrical themes aside, this album's already so exciting and so fun. This band is like on the cutting edge of modern metal and just doing stuff that's like, everything they do is like, oh, well, that's never been done before. You know, literally the majority of the things they do in their music is like, well, that's never been done before in this way. I mean, yeah, we've had like this kind of quirky, psychedelic, almost Pink Floyd-esque moments where there's like a production even at the end, I don't know what to call that. It's like a production wobbly sound. But it's very like Pink Floyd, very psychedelic, very trippy sounding. Almost sounds like you're falling into some kind of a vortex, but in a peaceful way, if that makes any sense. And they do that, which is, again, been done before by other bands, but they do it in like a modern metal context with these Squire guitars, baritone guitars, genty, fucking heavy shit. And they've got all this like theatrical delivery in the vocals from Alex, but he can also scream. And then the lyrical concepts and everything are just so fun. So my understanding of this is, based on the lyrics, they seem to have made it. Or I'm guessing based on the storyline that they've kind of they've spun the Wheel of Fortune and they've gotten lucky. I can't remember the music video, so maybe they do win big in the music video for Wheel of Fortune. I'm guessing based on this that they probably did. So they're talking about salvation through success, big baller making big ass checks. I carry my cross, but I'm blessed. Big bag baller making small ass steps. You heard it here first. And then it's all like, I'm so sick of the lack of perspective. I don't reflect. So it's like the lack of perspective and the lack of, I guess just being a little bit disconnected that might come with having so much wealth that it is impossible, no matter how hard you try a lot of the time, to actually be grounded, because your reality just no longer reflects being in a state where you have to like worry about certain things. I don't reflect. I just add it to the basket. Amazon delivering the package with my investments. Hold up. So that is such an interesting topic as well. Now, I might be like slightly misinterpreting this, but the way I am interpreting this is that when you can, like, a lot of most things that I've ever, like, for example, when I was, now I'm not coming from, point of view of like wealth by any stretch of the imagination here. I get by every single month. It's a struggle to pay fucking rent, put it that way. But the idea and the concept that, like, when I was a little bit younger and I was making absolutely like no money, when I was like working a part-time job, when you would save up enough money to be able to like go and buy one thing, like a new camera or something like that, because cameras and stuff, we all have our own thing that people like enjoy spending money on and splurging money on. I personally enjoy like spending money on kind of tech stuff, like whether it be cameras, lights, guitars, anything kind of to do with my YouTube setup and stuff like that. I love, like, that's like, I get a good kick out of it. But when you, like, I've got money saved and stuff, so I technically at any point could just go and buy, I won't say anything I want, there's a limit obviously, but like, for example, if there's like €1,000 camera that I want to buy, I wouldn't go and buy it because it wouldn't be the smartest financial decision for me right now. But I could if I wanted to, like, I have savings there that I could put towards buying, say, €1,000 camera. So when you can do something and you kind of get to that point, and I'm speaking of a very low level of like standard, have a bit of savings behind me, but nothing crazy. I'm living in an apartment in Ireland, living a normal lifestyle, paying rent, struggling some months, doing all right other months, normal lifestyle. And I can only imagine that when you get to the level of someone who's made that much money, or they've won that much money, even more so when you've like won that much money, where you haven't actually got that satisfaction of putting work in to get to a particular level and then reaping the rewards. At least if you've put in a lot of work to kind of get to a particular level, you can maybe bathe in it a little bit more and actually appreciate it, because you're like, okay, I've put in X amount of work and this is what I've been working for for all these years. Now I can reap the fruits of my labor. I think I've fucked up that expression. But I think the point of this is that it's almost like, because there's no perspective on how much work it's taken to get to this point based on the fact that you just spun a wheel and won money, it becomes like the opposite effect, where you always thought that you wanted all these things, but now you realize that it's not just about having the things or having enough money, because the satisfaction a lot of the time actually comes from the pursuit of getting that particular thing. And that's why I say about my like cameras and stuff, when I had like a lot less money and I had like no savings behind me and I'd be working towards a particular goal, and then you get that thing and you're like, yes, that was so satisfying, now let's get to the next one. But when you can kind of just do it at any point in your life, when you can just go, oh, I'll just buy that camera, it's no longer that much fun, So it's a really interesting topic. And again, I'm speaking of myself as just like an average bloke who earns a pretty average wage, especially in Ireland, probably less than average, but I do what I love for a living. So it's a trade-off. But yeah, it's really interesting. Like, I'm so sick of the lack of perspective. I don't reflect. I just add it to my basket. Amazon delivering the package with my investments. Hold up. Now I'm a dull motherfucker looking sharp like a killer. I'm gonna cut myself when I look in the mirror. Fuck that old ass face. Yeah, get me some filler. So yeah, it's like, again, the desire to kind of like change his physical appearances is like, okay, I just need some kind of a change. It's like a dopamine hit. It's like, okay, I've just bought this and bought this and bought this. I'm not getting that hit that I thought I would get from this, because it's not actually, again, addressing the actual problem at hand, is that he's maybe insecure about something. And that's why it then turns to like, okay, well, look, I'm getting older, I need to change this. And you're just never actually dealing with the root problem, because a lot of people think that when I have loads of money, I'll then be happy. And I'm guilty of this as well. Like I like do as I say, not as I do, because I'm exactly like this, and this is why it's relatable to me and it's interesting. It's like, in my head, I'm like, oh, if I just had an extra fucking 100 grand sitting around, all my problems will be resolved. But I know deep down that that's not the case, because it does go deeper than that. But that is kind of the theme that I'm gathering from this song, which is really interesting. I may have slightly butchered that, but it's fun to kind of deep dive on these things, and I'm just interested in that stuff. But Marimba. That last song is playlist for sure. I don't know what a marimba is. Marimba. Music. It's an instrument. A deep-toned xylophone of African origin. This has a melancholic feel to it in the flow. This will make a lot of sense going into melancholic so far. The riff kind of rolling over itself. It's like tumbling down a hill. Kind of Make Them Suffer-esque. This fucking band, man. I have got I'm just reading the lyrics on the other screen here, by the way. If it looks like I'm just zoning into the screen, it's because I've been reading the lyrics. Unfortunately, they're not out on Spotify yet. But go read the lyrics for yourself if you're interested. This is great. And this goes into Melancholic, which might be one of the better songs in the album, which is saying a lot, because so far, as you can see, we've liked every single song. Like, I'm gonna like these two songs as well. This could be album of the year, to be honest. This could be album of the year. And I think even the non-singles are making more sense in the context, especially with the context of the lyrics and the storyline, which is so cool. You know, this band put in so much effort, not only musically, marketing-wise, but also just the lyrics are so interesting. Now, this is the kind of the first point of the album that I don't fully understand the theme. Maybe this is kind of like a bit of a detour and a slight like side story almost in the overall thing. So it's called Maramba, which I believe is like an African xylophone, like a deep tuned xylophone, essentially, is what I'm seeing online. Unless there was moments in that song that had the xylophone, I'd have to listen to it again. I don't know what I'm listening for, so it's hard to know if that's, you know, maybe it was the doodle-doodle-doo, doodle-doodle-doo, doodle-doo, but maybe that's just a synth. I don't really know. I can feel my mind go overdrive, thinking for hours at a time. A meditation on the fear, the phantom pain, you cutting me off. If there is a reason I haven't found, keep running laps. Legs dug trenches into the ground. The goddamn seems like I just can't shake off these complications. Stuck on the line, you took me by storm, but give me a sign. Just a single call, baby. We really need to talk. Haven't you heard my message? I've been texting you for too long. Just pick up the phone. Come on. Just know I'm sobbing for you when hell is pouring down and you're ignoring. I never really wanted to give you all these chances I'm granting. I felt the need to show you. I never really wanted to give you even one chance to resolve any issue. Guess it's my thing to absolve any abuse. Just an instinct, little kink that I'm into. This is where it kind of changes. So this kind of almost implies that it's specifically about like one person. It's almost like a relationship or a weird kind of fling that's going on. And then it goes into, we're aware of the state of the war, but you don't care or you choose to ignore. I guess you're hiding behind all that silence. So again, that could be like more of a stance on the, global, geographical and sociological things that are going on in the world. And political, I suppose, is probably the more important one there. Well, have you ever tried finding peace, singing songs to the war? Every step that you are taking, I have taken before. I'm spending a days in the haze. This is no way of living, but if there's one thing I can't do, it's letting go and forgiving. Unfucking bearable. Every nightmare, every dream must come to a sudden end. I'm still stuck on the line. You took me by storm. Give me a sign. Okay. Right. Obviously, that sounds a bit mental, and I'm just reading it out like monotone like that without any nuance to how it's being said, but not fully sure I understand the intended meaning of that particular song. But I'm very much so interested to hear Melancholic again with the context. Oh, there's no lyrics again, man. I wish I could get it up. Okay, I'm going to have the lyrics up here just because I've never really paid too much attention to it. This song is so fucking good. I can't tell unless you want to know. I won't ask unless you want to show. One of the best riffs of the year, man. So simple, but this band, man, what a breakout year. What a fucking breakout. I know they've been doing their thing for a while, but this is their year. The mix is so incredible as well. Okay. Alright. That song's incredible. Man, there's so much I can talk about. I'm gonna just start taking my points down so I can really yap about it at the end and give my review. But this is shaping up to be one of the albums of the year, if not the album of the year. This is so good. This is incredible. I kind of forgot to pay attention to the lyrics, but I'm gonna go back to paying attention to the lyrics because I don't want to fall too far away from the theme lyrically. But when the music is this good, it's hard to not just get lost in it sometimes. But we've heard Whatever Alright. Oh, I would have liked a more clean transition on that. Like, it's not unclean, but that seems like it would just perfectly, smoothly transition without like an actual hard stop, you know? Maybe that was the intention. I don't really know. But I'm just going to quickly go to the toilet and then we're going to go and listen to the rest of the album. Back in a sec. I'm going to get the lyrics back up again for this.
Way past your prime. Just get used to the fact and the feeling that your whole life is on the line. Forced to forget cause someone's down here with time. And now you have to live with it. Live with the shadows in the corner of your eye. With the cold sweat tearing up the night. Live with the ups and the downs and the thoughts and the whatever, alright.
So creative, man. The fucking bass tone. Jesus, this song is good. Again, just focusing heavily on the lyrics here. Oh, this hits so hard right now. Man, this album's hitting. This is... I have things to say about this. 2 more hours.
Hey babe, I know I told you that I'll take like 2 more hours, but I don't think I will make it today. Yeah, I know we talked about this, so I hope it's better next week.
I'm afraid to higher the volume here because I might die when the band comes in. Well, the Whatever Alright lyrics, man. Live your life as a cope. Will shuts off as new habits take hold. Eyes stay fixed as you're narrowing the road. Hands lose grip as you sleep. Would you look at that? Don't fix, work around, keep your head down low, and just quit to go to bed. Oh, it's just very relatable lyrics. It really is. It's like, and the way he delivers it as well is so clever. Like, it's like a head voice. Like, he's like talking to himself. It's like that voice in your head. Because he's like, don't fix, work around, keep your head down low. Like, it's just never taking any accountability for anything. Just pushing it on to the next day and the next day. And then this, like, guilt starts to build and you start to fucking self-loathe. And it just keeps spiraling and spiraling and spiraling. Whatever, alright. Like, it just becomes just, alright, whatever. You know? So cool. So clever. And musically, it's fucking incredible as well. I already enjoyed that Whatever Alright track, but that just hit even harder. Live your life as a comb. Will shuts off as new habits take hold. New song, Future Nostalgia. Future Nostalgia lyrics.
I saw myself playing guitar. I caught myself painting the picture. I saw myself going on tour,
Okay.
playing in front of a million fucking people.
It's very young blood.
All these dreams will never come true. All these visions will stay. Future nostalgia.
It feels like a classic rock song with deathcore vocals and moments and Thal. We're a couple of bends off of this being a Thal song all of a sudden. Wow. I'm so happy for this band, man. This is... They nearly got me crying. Jesus Christ. That song's incredible. I don't know how much I go back to it, but I feel like this album is so consistent and easy to play from start to finish that it will just end up growing. So I'll just give it a like. Fuck it. And the next song is an absolute barn burner, which is Oh Yeah Yeah, which honestly I feel like will make a lot more sense in the context of where we've come from with this album so far, because it's like this mental anguish for the entire thing of like it. Honestly, this album so far sounds, the lyrical content makes a lot of sense with my experiences with Alex. Like I mentioned earlier, like very, very creative guy and very switched on guy to like the world of social media and like the obligations that he has to go through and to do, regardless of whether he likes it or not. He's aware that like the marketing of the band is so important because they have the quality to do it. You know, they've got the quality musically to become a big band. And I feel like Alex probably can't, he's probably aware of that. And because of that knowledge and his understanding of the feedback they're getting, he'll probably find it very hard to switch off for a long time, because it will always be in his mind that, oh shit, our band can be the next big thing. And I have essentially unlimited resources to make sure that becomes a thing, because it's free to post on social media. All it takes is the effort, you know, which is what he is doing. Like, this is what I mean. He never fucking stops. He was so involved. Like he posed the idea to the Metal Roundup to do the little clip with him, and he was like wanting, like he was very specific about what he wanted, and it's great to see. It's very inspiring to see anyone in any field be like that. And yeah, look, it's the lyrical content of this album makes a lot of sense with how sporadic it is, and it's like so in its own head and so introspective. It's like kind of getting a deep dive into the mind of someone like Alex, who is probably incapable of switching off that thing in his brain that is like, oh shit, we're on the cusp of like becoming something that we've worked towards for so long. Not even just in Vianova, but I'm sure in his endeavors in his own personal life before this with like music and all the other band members. But it really shines through in this album. It's like relatable. It's from the perspective of someone who hasn't made it, but it's really interesting to hear because they're kind of getting up there, you know. They're definitely going to get a lot of new listeners with this album, man. This is one of those albums that feels like a bit of a stamp in time for me. I wasn't around for the whole Thal era and all of that went on when Thal kind of burst on the scene and everyone started changing the way they make music. This feels like potentially it could be something new brewing. These guys are definitely on the forefront. They're on the front line of modern metal. They are doing insane things. And I think a lot of bands are going to try and replicate the creativity. I won't say their style, because it's so hard to replicate a style like this because it's so uniquely them. But I think we're going to hear a lot of bands throwing away the handbook and the manual on how to do modern metal, because a lot of people have modern metal and metalcore kind of written off. They're like, oh, that genre is so dead. That subgenre is so dead. Bands have just been rinsing and repeating the same shit for the last couple of years, which I agree to a certain extent. There is a lot of repetitive shit in the scene, but Vianova are just like tearing that rule book up and just saying, you know what, we're doing our own thing. And it is such a breath of fresh air, man. Such a breath of fresh air. But let's go to Oh Yeah Yeah. This is such a fun album so far. Why is the lyrics not available on anything? I've heard both of these songs, and this, again, the scream at the end of Oyaya will make a lot more sense now because of, again, like I mentioned, that like mental fucking chaos that's going on in the brain of Alex. It just boils up to this moment of the scream at the end, you know? Makes a lot of sense. Oyaya. I've been at this shit for 10 fucking years, and I still feel like a failure. Yeah, it's all coming together, man. So sick. The lyrics in this are just hitting different now after the context of the album. This is special. Good lord, that has a whole new meaning now, that part, because of the lyrics leading up to this point. Yeah, that scream is like the entire album, just all the themes lyrically in this album literally seeping through in that last moment. This is so good. Again, such a relatable topic. This is the journey that Alex is going on as a musician, you know, dealing with the stresses that come with following something that I guess is not the path that a lot of people maybe would have chosen to go down, like the safer route, like being in an office job or whatever. And this is Alex, in my point of view anyway, from my perspective, that like mental back and forth, which I can relate to so much in this, because obviously the nature of what I do is, I guess, risky, and you know, it's in the long run there's no guarantee. This, like, I'm at the mercy of like these labels essentially just being like, okay, no more reaction videos. No, I'd try and make something else work. If we couldn't react to the music, you would do like reviews and try and make it a little bit more engaging and try and you know, kind of carve a new path out of the audience that I currently have. But it's obviously a lot resting on the shoulders of someone else, or my future is resting a lot on a lot of external factors for the most part. Obviously, I can do as much as I can, and this is why I relate to Alex so much with a lot of these themes, is that you can't really ever shut off because you're aware of that. You know, you are aware of the fact that you need to kind of maintain a level of like evolution, keep evolving, getting better, making sure that you're on top of this, competing with others in that sense of like, not just like people in the React space, but just YouTube in general, trying to stay on top of everything. Obviously, Alex is from the perspective of a musician, someone who's been doing it for 10 years and trying to improve, and he's dealing with the guilt of like constantly thinking about, Jesus Christ, man, what if this all does go wrong? What if this actually doesn't work out? I'm just sinking so much time into music, which has absolutely no guarantee of securing my future. And it's scary times, man. Like, I mean, the landscape of the world right now is so expensive to do anything. So you really like kind of need to maximize your earnings in general to like live a half decent life in most parts of the world right now with the state of the economy. So I completely understand like a lot of these themes. Like he's saying, are you going to walk by faith? So I guess walk by faith is essentially just like kind of letting, not faith as in like God or whatever, but like having faith in yourself, like a belief in your own ability, kind of letting go of like all of these horrible griefs and worries. Like, you know, is my future going to be secured? Am I wasting my time? Would I be better off having a full-time job? Would I be better off having a part-time job, which takes away from my time to be able to be an artist, which might result in a lesser end product? So if I'm going to do this, I kind of need to be all in. But if I'm all in, then I'm not going to be financially benefiting, and then the rest of my life is going to fall apart around me. So there's all these like, this is what I mean by this album is so like, it's like the look into the mind of someone who's going through a fucking, not a crisis, because I think Alex has got his head on his shoulders and he's doing the right thing by like really knuckling down, and he knows what he needs to do. But it's like a very fine line of being absolutely insane and committing too much to something and like falling off the cliff and being obsolete, which is obviously the next song, which we'll get into. But so are you going to walk by faith, or are you just going to give up and like surrender to this vision that you have in your head, despite it not being maybe legit, like technically the best option for your future? You just got to have faith in yourself. Don't hold on, give up, give in. So again, it's like, that's his brain. Like, go, don't go, do it, do this, don't do this, work harder on this, take a break, relax. You need time to relax, because then your music will be better. Oh no, your music is going to be better if you like really lose yourself in the craft. Are you going to walk by faith? Walk by faith. The pressure and the doubt, they are killing me, draining me out. I've been at this shit for 10 fucking years and still I feel like a failure. Like this song is like the culmination of all of the other songs coming together and just being like, like just pressure, guilt, all of the things rushing through his head, the thought of other people, how they look at you, of like chasing something that is a little bit unconventional, and they're like, they don't really understand it to the level that you do, so they're looking at you like, oh, he's a fucking crazy person, you know, like what is he doing? What if it all goes wrong? Your back is breaking. How long can you carry the guilt? How long can you carry the pain? Will you dare to take on your failure? I love this. Will you dare to take on your failure? Will you dare to walk by faith? That could be probably interpreted in two ways. It's like, will you dare to take on your failure of not pursuing what you actually wanted to do? So if you do look away from the music career or like the YouTube career or whatever it is, will you be able to deal with the failure of not pursuing that? Because that's something that I deal with as well. It's like, yeah, I could just stop right now, or I could go back to a full-time job right now, and I know I wouldn't be able to give my all to what I love doing, my passion here. But would I be able to deal with that quote unquote failure? It's not a failure, but you know, the way the mind works, it can be interpreted in that way in your own head. And that's the point that Alex, I think, is trying to get across, that it is perceived as like a failure if he was to just go and like not give music his full attention. Or can you live with the failure on the flip side of committing to the music and it not working out? Because there's no guarantee just because he commits his life to music that it's going to work out. So it's like, it's just so interesting to hear all of these themes be so relatable, yet the music also be so good. It's like perfectly ticking the box for me for all these things. It's just so relatable. It's so interesting. It's so well put together. The music matches the actual themes lyrically as well. This is incredible. Last song, Obsolete, and then I'm going to stop yapping. Oof. And finally we have some fucking lyrics. And then it's the culmination of all this. It's like, maybe I should just, you know, maybe this will all end once I just become irrelevant, you know? Maybe that's the best way to go about it.
Well,
Will I be free once I'm obsolete? 'Cause I'm just a few centuries away from being a useless blank over me. This ain't no guarantee, but it's coming for you, for you, for you and me.
This is so real, man. So real lyrically. I love it. Again, this could be like perceived as his own head, like trying to figure out what his future is going to be. What does the world need right now? Does it need more artists? Does it need lawyers? Should I be doing this? Is there another Vianova? Like, is there a point in me pursuing this because someone else is going to do it better? I could be completely interpreting this album wrong, by the way. This is just my interpretation of it.
And you will be free once you're obsolete. 'Cause you're just a few centuries away from being a useless blank over me. This ain't no guarantee, but it's coming for you, for you, for you and me. Oh, will we ever? Is there more to life than fulfilling expectations? Are we stuck here waiting, hoping for the desert we'll be free once we're obsolete? Yeah, 'cause we're just a few centuries away from being useless blank of and there's no guarantee, but it's coming for you, for you, for you and me. Oh, will we ever be
Oh, I've chills again. I've chills again. Just take my word for it. I'm not going to show you my arm again. There they are. That song hits so much harder. As expected in the context of the album. An interesting choice as a single, because it is such a pivotal moment in the album being the closer, and it's so emotional, and it does kind of ultimately tie up the entire theme of the album, from Squire Talk at the, you know, top of the world with signing to Intergalactic Records, to then going all out, the signature guitars, which was so fucking hilarious. Signature guitars, to the party in the office, to the early morning walk home, and that almost is like the kind of sign of what's to come. It's the come down. Like, I was even joking about it, of like the PTSD of like this walking home after like partying, whether it be like drugs, alcohol abuse for the whole night, staying up late. You know, you're having fun, you're in the moment, you're not thinking about things, and then all of a sudden it starts to wear off and you're going home and it's like, oh Jesus. And they really portrayed that quite well with the, you know, the underground scene coming home in the tram line at the train, or the metro system, whatever it's called in whatever country they're in. Assuming that's in Berlin somewhere, I don't know. But incredible stuff. Incredible album. This has so many things that we can talk about. Obviously, look at the screen right now. Let's not count 2 more hours, because it's like an interlude. It's still quite a nice interlude. I don't know what Alex was saying in that. The vocals in it are like a kind of room recording of him talking about something. I don't know, but it's not something I'll be returning to, but it's not something I'll be skipping in the context of the album. When was the last time you seen me like every single song on an album? You know? And this is something that I consciously did. I didn't mention this in the start of the video. I should have mentioned that, but I don't have like connections with the band. Like, it depends on your definition of the words friends. I think we're like friendly with each other in the industry. And this isn't me saying like I don't like the guys, but I guess people throw around the words friends quite easily these days. Because like, I've never met the guys in person. We know each other online, but my experiences with them have been incredible. Especially Alex. He's been like the main kind of correspondent that I've had. He's been on our podcast with the Metal Roundup. We've done like some collaborations on Instagram Reels and shit like that. So I know the guys in the scene, and they seem like really good dudes. Again, I don't know these people personally at all, so calling them friends seems a little bit like a stretch. But in the industry, they're pretty fucking cool guys. Obviously, there's an element of like a transactional thing there as well. It's like, oh, we collaborate on Instagram. It doesn't really mean anything, you know. I'm not trying to be like, oh, we collaborated, we're best friends now. It's just like, no, it works for both of us. But these guys are... Sorry, the point I was trying to go there with is that I know these guys and I'm acquaintances with them, and I am really fond of them. I love the band musically, and I, you know, obviously we've been sent the album early. I haven't listened to it early. I didn't get a chance to, but you know, they're sending it to us early. They're trusting us with that. They're sending us some of the singles early. They've been back and forth with us, like collaborating on Instagram and stuff. So like, there's reason to believe that maybe there'd be like some bias going into this, and I had to stop myself and be aware of that and be like, okay, these guys have been friendly with me. I've been friendly with them. But let's remove any potential that there might be some bias going into this and really dissect this album for what it is. And I did my best to do that. And I think I did a pretty good job of separating myself from like, quote unquote, knowing the bands. And it's incredible, you know? I would have liked to preface that at the start of the video, so it looks like I'm not like going in just completely biased. But I didn't love all of the singles. Like, I didn't massively love Más Rápido. I think I'd heard Wheel of Fortune at some point, maybe after Más Rápido. And I liked it. I wasn't like head over heels about them. I mentioned from the very get-go this band has something quite special and unique. But obviously when I heard, I think it was Melancholic and Whatever Alright, and then Oh Yeah Yeah and Obsolete, like, it just started to grow on me. I understood their sound a little bit more, and now in the context of the album, it's even better. Let's talk about some of the technicalities of this. The mix, let's just specifically talk about them. The mix in this album, it's amazing. This is one of the best modern metal mixes I have ever heard. Because it's not just like genty rhythms across the entire album. There is a lot of that, but there's so much happening in the world of production as well. To be able to like mix and master all of that in a way that doesn't sound jarring. And it's not just like a flatline level of like a solid mix. It has so much dynamics to it. There's moments where they cut to like some room mics, and there's like singing moments. There's moments where they cut to like room mics for like the snare sounds and the maybe not the drumming, but it's like in the guitar section sometimes where they kind of cut to certain moments where I don't know if it's specifically like a live recording of the room in the studio, but they've designed it in a way that it kind of feels like that. Like, I mean, in the moment in Melanchthonic where they have the like room mics recording the bridge section of Melanchthonic before the big wall of sound guitars come back in again, it's like they've done such a good job of mixing these two worlds of like really raw sounding recordings to the most pristine sounding, like perfectly chopped up modern metalcore or modern metal production elements and guitars. And the production in and of itself, like some of the different stylistic choices, whether it be potentially the marimba. I don't know if marimba was used in track number 5, but that's like an African xylophone is apparently what that is. So like to incorporate all of these fun things like the jazzier elements, the funky sections, it's just so unique. So the production being able to tie all of that together and add in like cool sound effects and just like really give it such a dynamic feel and like such a big airy feel. I don't even know, man. It's just incredible. Like the balls and the like fearlessness to completely like just in the middle of a song cut to those room mics and then cut back to the like studio recording is something that could just go so wrong. It could just sound shit. But they did that on multiple occasions, and every single time it like suited the song. Like it wasn't out of place. It didn't sound like they were trying to be creating a moment. It just felt so right for that particular moment. So a massive, massive well done to the producers and the mixing engineers and whoever was involved in that. I mean, I can look at the credits here, which is produced by Leon Schmidt. So well done to him. Written by Alex, Felix, Leon, Paul, and Raul. I think Leon might be one of the members of the band potentially. I'm not sure. I don't know who's mixed it and done the final mix and stuff like that. Maybe it was Leon as well. I'm not sure. But either way, regardless, whoever it was, give yourself a pat on the back. Incredible. If this is all done in-house, production-wise and mix, that's even more impressive. This band is literally the full package. Like, it's actually insane. If they can do all of this musically and then also produce it themselves and mix it themselves, mental. Another point, because I've yapped so much about this album already, is that I mentioned it, I alluded to it earlier, about the like Thal movement that happened, I guess, back in like the early 2010s with Viljarta. This, to me, I don't want to be like too hyperbolic because I know I've just listened to the album and it might be like recency bias, but this album feels like a massive, massive, was it flag in the road? Is that the expression? Or like fork in the road, I guess, maybe? Where I think a flag, it's like Vianova have really put their flag down. It's like they've gotten to a particular point and said, okay, here's the bar now for modern metal. And again, I don't know how other bands are going to replicate this, because obviously with the Thal sound, it's quite not an easy sound to replicate, but there's nuance to Thal music that is a lot easier to follow as a band. There's like a guideline, like have this eerie forestry-esque atmosphere with bendy guitars, with low-tuned guitars, with like deathcore vocals, with ambience, with this weird kind of flow to the song as well. That is very like Thal. You can kind of follow that process, but Vianova are so different. So although it feels like they're kind of putting their flag down and, you know, really staking their claim, it's very hard to replicate this. So I don't know what that means for the future of modern metal, but all I know is that these guys are at the forefront. They're on the front line of modern metal. There is like big bands like House of Protection and, you know, who else is like really at the cutting edge? I think Imminence are kind of up there at the moment. Obviously your Bad Omens, your Sleep Token. But I think for like modern metal, like heavy shit, that isn't like really blending in other genres in such a way that like 50% of the song, like Sleep Token, for example, is the obvious example to be like, oh, you know, they're at the cutting edge. They're at the forefront of modern metal. Sleep Token are like at the forefront of fucking pop music, essentially, and like bringing in gent guitars, whereas Vianova are a like modern metal band. They are really pushing the envelope when it comes to modern metal. This feels like the kind of new way. This just feels like a Thal kind of rejuvenation of the scene. Not quite the same thing, because like I said, this is quite hard to replicate, and I don't think bands will be able to be like, oh, let's go copy that Vianova sound. But this to me is just so unique. It's such a breath of fresh air. An incredible album. I'm going to go over to album of the year, which is something again that I've been doing. I've been doing it for the singles, but I guess I might as well keep it going with the albums. This will be my first album that I rate on Album of the Year. And this one's a tough one. I don't normally like, again, I don't really like rating things because it can be very hard to know whether or not you're just looking into it too much, but I find it very hard to not give this a very high rating. I think it's at least a 90. I'm going to say 92. Fuck it. It gave me chills. It gave me emotional moments. It gave me ridiculously fucking stank face moments. It gave me everything. It gave me laughter. What more could you ask for? I've liked every single song in it apart from the interlude. I'm not going to give it a 100 because it's just like, you know, it just comes down to like personal preference. Like I would put like maybe a Sleep Token album above this, some other albums above this, because they maybe resonate with me a little bit more musically. There might be like better melodies or stuff like that, but this as an album is just like near flawless for me, especially in that world of like modern metal. Incredible. Absolutely incredible album. But I think more importantly now, it's over to you guys. What do you think? Is this as good as I'm making it out to be? Is this warranting the hype that I am propping this album up with? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'm more than happy to read all your comments and go back and forth and see what you guys think, because I'm really interested to see if I'm just blowing smoke at this point. But I don't think I am. I think this is incredible. This band are fantastic. I'm so happy that the album is finally out. They've done such a good job of marketing it. And very interested to see what everyone else has to think. So guys, if you enjoyed this, then thank you. This is probably just going to remain on Patreon up until maybe a later date. I'll put the full album out on YouTube. So if you're watching early on Patreon, then thank you so much for your support. It is much appreciated. If you're watching on YouTube a little bit later on, consider joining on Patreon. It'd be much appreciated if I could see you over there. Leave a like in this video. Make sure you're subbed. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.